Are you a virgin? The question cut through champagne laughter and jazz piano like a knife through silk. Jaslyn stood on the rooftop of the Lakeshore Grand Hotel, Lake Michigan stretching black and endless behind glass railings. Gold lights. Designer dresses. Men in suits worth more than Jaslyn's college debt. Jaslyn had been in Chicago 3 weeks. 3 weeks translating documents for a Korean logistics company that felt wrong from day one. Too many shell corporations. Too many midnight phone calls. Too many eyes tracking Jaslyn's movements through office hallways. But the money was good. The contract was temporary. And Houston felt too small after everything Jaslyn had survived there. So Jaslyn stayed. Jaslyn wore emerald silk that night. Curves full and unapologetic. Thick thighs. Soft stomach. Brown skin glowing under rooftop lights. Posture straight. Jaslyn refused to shrink in rooms designed to make women disappear. Then June Park leaned against a marble pillar, smiled like a dare, and asked if Jaslyn was a virgin. Conversations died mid-sentence. Glasses froze halfway to lips. The rooftop held its breath. Jaslyn should have walked away. Should have laughed off June's question. Should have done anything except what Jaslyn did next. Jaslyn lifted the wine glass slowly. Met June's eyes. Let Jaslyn's voice carry. Losing it today. The reaction was instant. Shock rippled outward. Hunger followed. Someone gasped. Someone else cursed under breath in Korean. Then the sound of shattering glass exploded through the silence. Hyunwoo Kong stood 10 feet away. Champagne flute destroyed in Hyunwoo's grip. Blood dripping from Hyunwoo's palm onto marble floor. Dark eyes blazing with something feral and uncontrolled. Hyunwoo crossed the distance in 4 strides. Grabbed June by the collar. Slammed June against the marble pillar hard enough to crack stone. Who? One word. Growled. Barely human. June's eyes went wide. Hands raised. Hyunwoo, it was a joke. Who put you up to this? Hyunwoo's fist twisted tighter. June choked. Who told you to ask her that? The crowd backed away. Fear replacing curiosity. Chairman Seo appeared. Silver hair. Authority absolute. Hyunwoo, control yourself. Hyunwoo didn't move. Didn't release June. Blood from Hyunwoo's hand stained June's white shirt. Hyunwoo Kong, Chairman Seo's voice cut sharp. Release him. Hyunwoo shoved June away. Turned. Locked eyes on Jaslyn. Possessive. Jealous. Dangerous. Crossed to Jaslyn. Placed one hand on the back of Jaslyn's chair. Wood creaked under pressure. With who? 2 words. Calm now. But the violence underneath coiled tight and ready. Jaslyn's heart hammered. This wasn't protection. This was jealousy dressed in expensive tailoring. The answer was a joke, Jaslyn said carefully. That answer wasn't a joke, June rasped from across the rooftop. Hyunwoo didn't look at June. Hyunwoo's attention stayed fixed on Jaslyn like a predator watching prey. That statement invites attention Jaslyn cannot survive. Jaslyn stood. Refused to let Hyunwoo tower over Jaslyn sitting down. Jaslyn didn't realize anyone cared. Something raw crossed Hyunwoo's expression. Pain mixed with fury mixed with something that looked like longing. Chairman Seo approached. The crowd parted. Introduce your guest, Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo's spine straightened. Control snapped back into place like armor. Chairman Seo, this is Jaslyn Carter. Contract linguist. Chairman Seo studied Jaslyn with eyes that had seen decades of secrets. Recognition flashed across the older man's face. Then Chairman Seo said the words that detonated Jaslyn's entire world. Marcus Carter's daughter. The rooftop tilted. Everything Jaslyn thought Jaslyn knew shattered in 3 words. Welcome to Tales by Wave for more stories where power meets passion and choices define destiny. Comment below and tell me where you're watching from and subscribe. The name hit Jaslyn like a fist to the chest. Marcus Carter. Jaslyn's father. The man who walked out when Jaslyn was 7. The man who never called. Never wrote. Never explained why Jaslyn's mother cried herself to sleep for 3 years straight. Chairman Seo's eyes held no sympathy. Just certainty. Marcus Carter balanced accounts for many people, Chairman Seo said. Marcus Carter saved lives by exposing betrayal. Marcus Carter asked for protection. Ice crawled up Jaslyn's spine. Chairman Seo nodded toward Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo Kong carried that responsibility. The truth detonated quietly. The job offer. The apartment near Bronzeville with rent too low for the neighborhood. The security car parked across the street 3 nights a week. The way Hyunwoo always appeared when Jaslyn worked late. None of this had been coincidence. None of this had been choice. Jaslyn walked toward the terrace doors before words could form. Before anger could show. Before tears could break. Cold November air hit skin. City lights blurred into streaks of gold and white. Footsteps followed. Measured. Inevitable. Anger makes noise, Hyunwoo said quietly. Confusion stays silent. Jaslyn didn't turn around. Was any of this real? The work was real. The danger was real. Why Marcus Carter? Hyunwoo moved to the railing. Moonlight carved shadows into sharp planes across Hyunwoo's face. Marcus Carter uncovered an internal theft ring tied to a rival family. Marcus Carter warned Hyunwoo Kong. Men died because of that warning. Marcus Carter walked away clean. And now? And now Chicago remembers debts. Jaslyn laughed once. Brittle. Broken. So Jaslyn became leverage. Jaslyn became visible. That question tonight triggered everything, didn't it? Yes. Jaslyn turned finally. Met Hyunwoo's eyes. Then explain the rules. Stop protecting Jaslyn from truth. Hyunwoo's jaw tightened. This world trades in perception. A public claim prevents private violence. Stop hiding behind words. Hyunwoo Kong is hiding Jaslyn from blood. Jaslyn decides what risks matter. Silence stretched between them. Tight. Dangerous. Hyunwoo stepped closer. Voice dropping. Hyunwoo wanted distance. Distance failed. The confession hung heavy in cold air. Jaslyn felt it then. The way Hyunwoo positioned himself between Jaslyn and doors. The way Hyunwoo's hand always hovered near Jaslyn's back in crowds. The way Hyunwoo watched Jaslyn when Hyunwoo thought Jaslyn wasn't looking. Protection. Obsession. Something darker and more tender than either word could hold. What does Hyunwoo want? Jaslyn asked. A problem solved, Hyunwoo said softly. And a woman untouched by this world kept safe from violence. Jaslyn leaned closer. What if Jaslyn wants the truth anyway? Control cracked. Hyunwoo's hand lifted, brushed Jaslyn's cheek. Gentle, reverent, dangerous. The moment shattered when footsteps returned. June Park appeared in the terrace doorway. Eyes hard, jaw set. Caldera Group is asking questions, June said. Los Angeles ties. Old grudges. Hyunwoo turned cold again. Instant. Complete. Set the meeting. Jaslyn Carter attends. Shock crossed June's face. That breaks protocol. Hyunwoo's voice cut sharp. That establishes reality. The meeting was set for tomorrow night. Downtown Chicago. Closed steakhouse near the River North Bridges. Don Rafael Caldera and his crew. Jaslyn had 24 hours to prepare for a conversation that could end in blood. Hyunwoo sent June away with instructions. Then turned back to Jaslyn. The terrace suddenly felt smaller. More intimate. This world has rules, Hyunwoo said. Break them, and enemies multiply. What rule did Jaslyn break tonight? Visibility without protection. June's question made Jaslyn a target. Hyunwoo's reaction made Jaslyn claim territory. Jaslyn crossed arms. Jaslyn didn't ask for this. Marcus Carter asked years ago. The debt passed to Jaslyn. That's not fair. Fair doesn't exist here. Anger flared hot in Jaslyn's chest. Then why bring Jaslyn to Chicago? Why not leave Jaslyn in Houston? Hyunwoo's control slipped for half a second. Because Caldera found Jaslyn first. Surveillance. Photos. Plans. Hyunwoo intercepted before Caldera could move. The air left Jaslyn's lungs. How long? 6 months of watching Jaslyn. 3 weeks of keeping Jaslyn close. So this entire time, yes. Jaslyn turned away, pressed palms against cold railing. Jaslyn can't trust anything. Footsteps behind. Close. Trust this, Hyunwoo said quietly. Hyunwoo wanted distance. Hyunwoo built walls. Hyunwoo tried to stay professional. Hyunwoo's hand reached out. Fingertips brushed Jaslyn's shoulder. Distance failed the moment Jaslyn walked into that office wearing yellow and smiled at the receptionist like sunshine existed in this city. Jaslyn's breath caught. Hyunwoo's hand slid down, traced Jaslyn's arm, stopped at Jaslyn's wrist. Tomorrow, Jaslyn faces men who kill without hesitation. But tonight, Hyunwoo needs Jaslyn to understand something. Jaslyn turned, found Hyunwoo's face inches away. What? Hyunwoo will burn Chicago down before letting anyone touch Jaslyn. The promise hung between them like a vow. Then Hyunwoo stepped back. Controlled again. Get rest. Tomorrow changes everything. The steakhouse smelled like leather and old cigars. Jaslyn wore black silk, hair pulled back, minimal jewelry. Hyunwoo had dressed Jaslyn for war disguised as diplomacy. Armed men lined the walls. Shadows with guns and dead eyes. The kind of men who disappeared bodies without asking questions. Don Rafael Caldera sat at the head of a long table. Silver temples, expensive watch, smile that never reached cold eyes. Hyunwoo's hand rested at the small of Jaslyn's back. Firm, possessive, a message written in touch. Marcus Carter's daughter arrives escorted, Don Rafael said. Voice smooth as poison. Hyunwoo pulled out Jaslyn's chair. Sat beside Jaslyn, close enough that shoulders touched. Any threat to Jaslyn Carter is a threat to Hyunwoo Kong, Hyunwoo said. Don Rafael's gaze sharpened. Marcus Carter cost Caldera millions. Blood demands balance. The room held its breath. Jaslyn spoke before Hyunwoo could respond. Marcus Carter left the game, Jaslyn said. Voice steady, clear. Jaslyn Carter never entered. Honor recognizes the difference. Silence dropped like a hammer. Don Rafael leaned forward, studied Jaslyn like a puzzle worth solving. Bold words for someone surrounded. Honest words from someone who understands respect. Murmurs rippled through Rafael's men. Heads turned. Calculations shifted behind eyes trained to measure weakness. Hyunwoo's hand found Jaslyn's under the table. Squeezed once. Warning or reassurance, Jaslyn couldn't tell. Don Rafael sat back. Tapped fingers against mahogany. Marcus Carter abandoned obligations. Debts don't disappear with distance. Marcus Carter made choices, Jaslyn said. Jaslyn Carter wasn't born yet when those choices were made. Punishing blood for decisions made before birth isn't honor. That's cruelty wearing tradition's mask. The room shifted. One of Raphael's lieutenants nodded slightly. An older man near the window crossed arms, expression thoughtful. Don Rafael's jaw tightened, then relaxed. Hyunwoo Kong taught you well. Hyunwoo Kong didn't teach Jaslyn to speak. Jaslyn's mother did, right before Marcus Carter disappeared and left both women broken. Truth landed heavy. Don Rafael studied Jaslyn for 10 long seconds. Then sighed. Chicago stays quiet. Marcus Carter's debt dies with distance. Jaslyn Carter walks free. Relief flooded through Jaslyn's chest. One condition, Don Rafael added. Jaslyn Carter never uses Marcus Carter's name for leverage. Jaslyn Carter stands alone or stands with Hyunwoo Kong. Choose. Jaslyn didn't hesitate. Jaslyn stands with Hyunwoo. Don Rafael smiled. Real this time. Then Chicago has peace. The meeting ended without blood. Hyunwoo's hand stayed at Jaslyn's back as both walked out into cold night air. City lights reflected off Lake Michigan in the distance. That was reckless, Hyunwoo said quietly. That was necessary, Jaslyn answered. Hyunwoo stopped, turned Jaslyn to face him. Hyunwoo doesn't deserve this. Jaslyn chooses this anyway. Something broke in Hyunwoo's expression. Something that looked like surrender. Jaslyn stared at the photo until the image blurred. Marcus Carter. Older. Grayer. But unmistakably alive. Walking through a Seoul market like ghosts didn't haunt every step. How long has Hyunwoo known? Jaslyn asked. 2 weeks. Intelligence confirmed Marcus operates under an alias. Still moving money. Still playing both sides. Jaslyn set the photo down carefully. Hands shaking. Marcus abandoned Jaslyn at 7. Left Jaslyn's mother to raise Jaslyn alone. Died broke and bitter while Marcus lived overseas like a king. Memory hit sharp. Waiting by the window every night for headlights that never came. Jaslyn's mother crying in the bathroom, trying to muffle sobs so Jaslyn wouldn't hear. Building a life from welfare checks and scholarships because no one was coming to save them. Jaslyn doesn't know if Jaslyn wants to save Marcus or watch Marcus burn. Hyunwoo crossed the room. Pulled Jaslyn into arms that felt like shelter and storm combined. Jaslyn doesn't have to choose tonight. Jaslyn broke then. Tears hot and angry against Hyunwoo's shirt. Grief for the father who chose secrets over his daughter. Rage at the debt Jaslyn inherited without consent. Hyunwoo held tight. Let Jaslyn shatter without judgment. Hyunwoo sees Jaslyn. Hyunwoo whispered against Jaslyn's hair. Every part. The anger. The strength. The fear underneath. Hyunwoo sees all of Jaslyn. Jaslyn pulled back, looked up through wet lashes. Does Hyunwoo still see someone worth protecting? Hyunwoo sees someone worth everything. The kiss was different this time. Not tentative, not interrupted, desperate, claiming. Two people choosing each other in a world built on violence and lies. Hyunwoo lifted Jaslyn, carried Jaslyn to the bedroom overlooking the lake. City lights painting shadows across skin. Laid Jaslyn down gently, looked at Jaslyn like memorizing every curve, every detail. Jaslyn is beautiful, Hyunwoo said. Voice rough, reverent. Jaslyn pulled Hyunwoo down, then showed Jaslyn what Hyunwoo sees. Slow, deliberate. Hyunwoo kissed Jaslyn's mouth, jaw, throat, traced the neckline of Jaslyn's dress with lips that worshipped. Jaslyn arched into the touch, hands exploring Hyunwoo's shoulders, back, muscles tense with restraint. Hyunwoo doesn't have to hold back, Jaslyn whispered. Hyunwoo wants to remember every second of this. Clothes disappeared slowly, between kisses and touches that felt like promises. Hyunwoo's hands mapped Jaslyn's body. Soft stomach, full hips, thick thighs, every inch treated like treasure. Jaslyn is perfect, Hyunwoo murmured against Jaslyn's skin. Jaslyn gasped when Hyunwoo's mouth found sensitive places. When fingers traced patterns that made Jaslyn forget everything except this moment. This person, this choice. Jaslyn chooses Hyunwoo, Jaslyn breathed. Jaslyn chooses this. Jaslyn chooses Jaslyn. Hyunwoo's hands trembled against Jaslyn's waist. Hyunwoo has wanted Jaslyn since the day Jaslyn walked into that office wearing yellow and refused to be invisible. Bodies moved together, rhythm finding itself, breath merge. Connection deepened beyond protection into something neither could name but both understood. Partnership, possession, promise. Jaslyn cried out. Hyunwoo swallowed the sound with a kiss. Followed Jaslyn over the edge moments later. Jaslyn's name on Hyunwoo's lips like prayer. After, tangled together, sweat cooling, heart slowing. Jaslyn traced patterns on Hyunwoo's chest. That was everything, Hyunwoo finished. Morning light woke them hours later. Still wrapped around each other. Hyunwoo's phone shattered the peace. June's voice. Tight, urgent. Caldera made a move, grabbed someone. Hyunwoo sat up. Who? Minji Park. 23. Works reception at the logistics front. Innocent. Engaged. They took Minji 2 hours ago. Hyunwoo's face went cold. Lethal. Caldera wants Marcus Carter's location, June continued. Or Caldera wants Jaslyn Carter in exchange. 48 hours. Hyunwoo looked at Jaslyn. War and worry fighting behind controlled eyes. This is because of Jaslyn, Jaslyn said. This is because Caldera is desperate. But Jaslyn knew the truth. An innocent woman's life hung in the balance. And Jaslyn had 48 hours to decide whose blood would pay the price. Jaslyn had a plan. Dangerous. Reckless. The kind of plan that could end with a body in Lake Michigan. But the kind that didn't sacrifice Marcus's location or Jaslyn's freedom or an innocent woman's life. Absolutely not, Hyunwoo said when Jaslyn explained. Jaslyn isn't asking permission. Jaslyn is asking to die. Jaslyn is asking to think like Marcus Carter without becoming Marcus Carter. That stopped Hyunwoo cold. The plan was simple. Expose Caldera's operation to the federal task force using recorded confessions from Chairman Seo about Caldera's internal betrayals. Stolen shipments. Broken oaths. Names and dates. Leverage that destroyed legitimacy in the underworld. Information worth more than blood. Chairman Seo will never agree, Hyunwoo said. Chairman Seo already did. Jaslyn asked this morning while Hyunwoo was on the phone with suppliers. Hyunwoo stared. Jaslyn went to Chairman Seo without Hyunwoo? Jaslyn needed an answer fast. Chairman Seo understood. June entered the penthouse. Looked between them. Jaslyn is serious about this? Completely. June nodded slowly. June agrees. This is the only play that doesn't start a war. Hyunwoo's jaw clenched. Jaslyn walks into that warehouse. Jaslyn might not walk out. Jaslyn stepped close. Cupped Hyunwoo's face. Then make sure Jaslyn does. Preparation took 12 hours. June taught Jaslyn a basic self-defense move. How to break a grip. Where to aim if someone grabbed Jaslyn from behind. Hyunwoo gave Jaslyn a thin blade. Hidden in a bracelet clasp. If this goes wrong, Jaslyn cuts and runs. Hyunwoo will find Jaslyn. The kiss before leaving tasted like desperation and fear and something deeper than either word could hold. Come back to Hyunwoo, Hyunwoo whispered against Jaslin's mouth. Always. The warehouse sat near the south side river. Abandoned. Dark. Armed men positioned everywhere. Minji Park sat tied to a chair in the center. Young. Terrified. Mascara streaked down cheeks. Don Rafael Caldera stood flanked by enforcers. Cold eyes. Colder smile. Jaslin walked in alone. Black clothing. Hair pulled back. Spine straight. Hyunwoo positioned outside with a sniper team. Jaslin felt Hyunwoo's presence like a shadow Jaslin carried everywhere now. Where is Marcus Carter? Don Rafael asked. Rafael is asking the wrong question. Rafael's expression hardened. Jaslin Carter tests patience. Jaslin pulled out a small recording device. Pressed play. Chairman Seo's voice filled the warehouse. Naming Caldera's betrayals. Stolen shipments from allied families. Broken oaths. Dates. Locations. Witnesses. 30 seconds of information that could destroy Caldera's reputation across the entire Midwest. Jaslin stopped the recording. This recording goes to every family in the region unless Minji Park walks out unharmed. Silence dropped like thunder. Don Rafael's fury was visible. Controlled but burning. Jaslin would destroy Hyunwoo Kang's alliance? Jaslin would destroy anyone who thinks innocence is negotiable. Raphael's men shifted. Uncertain. The recording changed calculations. Raphael studied Jaslin. Marcus Carter taught Jaslin well. Marcus Carter taught Jaslin nothing. Jaslin learned survival alone. Raphael smiled. Genuine this time. Dangerous respect. Release Minji Park. One of Raphael's men cut Minji's restraints. Minji ran to Jaslin, sobbing, shaking. Jaslin held Minji but didn't move. Held ground. Held Raphael's gaze. Jaslin is Marcus Carter's daughter, Raphael said. Jaslin is Jaslin's own woman. Remember the difference. Sudden movement. One of Raphael's men pulled a gun. Rogue. Personal vendetta burning in wild eyes. Marcus Carter's blood pays tonight. Gunshot. Chaos exploded. Hyunwoo's team breached through every entrance. Jaslin shoved Minji down. Blade out. Hyunwoo appeared like violence incarnate. Eliminated the threat with 3 precise movements. Don Rafael stopped his own men. Enough. Silence returned. Bodies breathing hard. Rafael looked at Hyunwoo, then at Jaslin. The recording never surfaces. Caldera forgets Marcus Carter exists. Deal? Hyunwoo's arm wrapped around Jaslin. Possessive. Protective. Done. Rafael nodded at Jaslin. Jaslin will survive this world. Few do. Hyunwoo and Jaslin walked out together. Hyunwoo's hand at Jaslin's back. Body angled to shield. Chicago saw. Every crew. Every whisper network. Every shadow. Jaslin wasn't just protected anymore. Jaslin was claimed. Publicly. Irrevocably. And in this world, that meant war or wedding. Word spread through Chicago's underworld in hours. Jaslin Carter. Hyunwoo Kang's woman. Publicly claimed. Untouchable. Reactions split like lightning. Respect. Curiosity. Resentment from those who believed women had no place in power conversations. Rival crews tested boundaries. Small provocations. Watching to see if Hyunwoo's claim held weight or was just performance. Chairman Seo summoned them both 3 days after the warehouse. The meeting room felt heavy. Old guard members lined the walls. Men who built empires on tradition and blood. This creates exposure, Chairman Seo said. Exposure creates vulnerability. An older man spoke, voice sharp. Jaslin Carter is not one of us. Jaslin has no place in family decisions. Jaslin felt the weight of eyes. Judgment. Assessment. Hyunwoo's hand found Jaslin's under the table. Steady. Jaslin Carter saved an innocent life and prevented war, Chairman Seo said. That earns consideration. But doubt lingered in the room like smoke. Jaslin couldn't return to normal life. The hospital contract ended early. Friends in Houston called, worried. Jaslin's phone filled with messages Jaslin couldn't answer honestly. Trapped between worlds. Not civilian. Not crew. Existing in the space between protection and belonging. That night, Hyunwoo found Jaslin on the penthouse balcony. City glittering below like broken glass. Marry Hyunwoo. Jaslin turned. What? In this world, a claim without a bond is an insult. Marriage makes Jaslyn untouchable. Is this about protection or partnership? Hyunwoo stepped closer. Both. Started as one. Became the other. Jaslyn's heart hammered. Jaslyn won't be a political pawn. Then be Hyunwoo's equal. Hyunwoo pulled out a folder. Business documents. Legitimate company fronts. Jaslyn speaks Korean, English, Spanish. Jaslyn reads people. Jaslyn thinks 3 moves ahead. Set the folder in Jaslyn's hands. Hyunwoo needs someone Hyunwoo trusts. Hyunwoo trusts Jaslyn. This is real? Completely. The test came 2 days later. Board meeting. Front company executives. Mix of legitimate business and crew loyalty. Jaslyn sat beside Hyunwoo, silent, observing. One executive presented quarterly reports. Numbers looked clean, but Jaslyn noticed discrepancies in translated documents. Figures that didn't match across languages. Deliberate errors designed to hide skimmed profits. Jaslyn waited until the presentation finished. The Korean document shows different revenue figures than the English version, Jaslyn said. Voice calm, clear. Someone is hiding approximately 2 million in diverted funds. The room froze. The executive's face went pale. That's a translation error. Translation errors don't consistently favor one account, Jaslyn interrupted. But embezzlement does. Chairman Seo leaned forward, eyes sharp. Explain. Jaslyn walked through the discrepancies. Line by line. Proof in patterns the executive thought no one would catch. Silence followed. Chairman Seo nodded once. Remove him. The executive was escorted out. Violently. Efficiently. Chairman Seo looked at Jaslyn. Jaslyn sees what others miss. Hyunwoo's hand rested on Jaslyn's shoulder. Quiet pride. That night, overlooking the lake, Jaslyn gave Hyunwoo an answer. Jaslyn will marry Hyunwoo, not because Jaslyn has to. Because Jaslyn chooses this life with eyes open. This won't be easy. Nothing worth having is. Hyunwoo slid a ring onto Jaslyn's finger. Black diamond. Sharp edges. Untraditional. Perfect. 3 weeks, Hyunwoo said. Then Jaslyn becomes Mrs. Kong. Jaslyn smiled. Then Chicago better get ready. The wedding happened on a Saturday in December. Private location. High security. Guest list vetted 3 times. Jaslyn wore white with emerald accents. Callback to the night everything changed. Curves celebrated. Hair natural. Makeup minimal. Hyunwoo wore traditional hanbok with modern tailoring. Black and silver. Regal. Chairman Seo officiated. Symbolic blessing from the old guard. Vows spoken in Korean and English. Promises of truth. Partnership. Protection that didn't erase independence. Hyunwoo promises to stand beside Jaslyn, not in front of Jaslyn, Hyunwoo said. Jaslyn promises to choose Hyunwoo every day, even when choosing becomes difficult, Jaslyn answered. Crews from across the Midwest attended. Political necessity wrapped in celebration. But when Hyunwoo kissed Jaslyn, politics disappeared. Just 2 people who found each other in a world built to keep them apart. The reception filled with languages and laughter. Jaslyn moved through conversations with confidence earned through fire. Spoke Korean with elders, Spanish with West Coast representatives, English with federal contacts who pretended not to know what this gathering really meant. June approached with champagne. June never thought Hyunwoo would marry. June is glad June was wrong. Jaslyn appreciates June's honesty that first night. The question changed everything. The answer changed more. An envelope arrived during dessert. Plain. No return address. Hyunwoo opened the envelope privately with Jaslyn in a quiet corner. Handwritten letter. Marcus Carter's script. Jaslyn. Marcus left to keep Jaslyn safe. Marcus failed as a father but succeeded at keeping Jaslyn alive. Marcus sees Jaslyn chose a harder path than Marcus could protect Jaslyn from. Hyunwoo Kong is a better man than Marcus was. Trust Hyunwoo. Forgive Marcus if Jaslyn can. Live fully even if Marcus can't. Jaslyn read the letter twice. Tears burned but didn't fall. Marcus is a coward, Jaslyn said quietly. But Marcus is a coward who loved Jaslyn the only way Marcus knew how. Hyunwoo touched Jaslyn's face. Jaslyn doesn't have to forgive Marcus. Jaslyn doesn't. But Jaslyn can let this go. Jaslyn walked to the fireplace. Burned the letter. Watched paper curl into ash. Closure without reconciliation. Freedom without forgiveness. Chairman Seo made an announcement before the night ended. Jaslyn Carter Kong will oversee international communications and cultural consulting. Legitimate authority. Real decisions. Not decorative. Operational. Jaslyn wasn't a symbol. Jaslyn was essential. An FBI agent approached Jaslyn near the exit. Brief. Calculated. The Bureau knows who Jaslyn married. The Bureau knows what Hyunwoo is. Jaslyn's voice stayed calm. Then the Bureau knows Jaslyn is protected. And if the Bureau is smart, the Bureau will remember Jaslyn as a civilian consultant who never committed crimes. The agent's jaw tightened. Jaslyn walks a thin line. Jaslyn lives Jaslyn's life. There's a difference. The agent left without another word. The penthouse was dark when they returned. City glittering below like scattered stars. Hyunwoo closed the door, locked it, turned to find Jaslyn watching with eyes that held promises and heat. Mrs. Kong, Hyunwoo said softly. Mr. Kong, Jaslyn answered. Hyunwoo crossed the room slowly. Pulled Jaslyn close. Kissed Jaslyn like they had all night and intended to use every second. Jaslyn's hands worked the buttons of Hyunwoo's hanbok. Pushed fabric off shoulders. Traced muscles earned through years of discipline and danger. Hyunwoo unzipped Jaslyn's dress. Let white silk pool at Jaslyn's feet. Stepped back to look. Hyunwoo's wife, Hyunwoo said. Voice rough with want. Jaslyn's husband, Jaslyn answered. Hyunwoo lifted Jaslyn. Carried Jaslyn to the bedroom. Laid Jaslyn down on sheets that smelled like home and tomorrow. This time there was no rush. No danger waiting outside the door. No interruptions. Just two people and the promises they'd made. Hyunwoo kissed every inch of skin. Worshipped Jaslyn's curves with hands and mouth. Made Jaslyn gasp and arch and forget everything except Hyunwoo's name. Beautiful, Hyunwoo murmured against Jaslyn's thigh. Perfect. Mine. Yours, Jaslyn agreed breathlessly. Always yours. When Hyunwoo finally moved over Jaslyn, eyes locked. Connection deeper than bodies. Souls recognizing each other. Slow at first. Savoring. Building. Then faster. Desperate. Claiming. Jaslyn's nails traced down Hyunwoo's back. Pulled Hyunwoo closer. Deeper. Don't stop. Never, Hyunwoo promised. Jaslyn shattered first. Hyunwoo's name torn from Jaslyn's throat. Hyunwoo followed seconds later. Face buried in Jaslyn's neck. Jaslyn's name whispered like benediction. After, tangled together. Matching rings catching moonlight. Does Jaslyn regret this? Hyunwoo asked quietly. Every day Jaslyn will choose this. That's not regret. That's commitment. Kissed slowly. Deeply. Started again. Morning found them wrapped around each other. Sunlight painting gold across brown skin and white sheets. 3 months later. Jaslyn fluent in organizational operations. Stopped a shipment breach. Read competitive intelligence like poetry. Hyunwoo watched Jaslyn lead a meeting. Quiet pride in dark eyes. Threats still existed, but now both managed them together. Chicago adapted. Jaslyn adapted faster. Hand rested on Jaslyn's stomach. Subtle. Hyunwoo's protective glance caught the gesture. New life growing. New future building. They asked if Jaslyn was a virgin that night on the rooftop. Jaslyn said Jaslyn was losing it today. Jaslyn didn't know Jaslyn was losing fear. Losing doubt. Losing the version of Jaslyn that believed safety meant hiding. Jaslyn found power instead. Partnership. Truth. Chicago still keeps secrets. But Jaslyn isn't one of them anymore. Jaslyn is the woman who chose the shadows and made them bow. If you believe love can exist even in darkness, you belong here. Subscribe to Tales by Wave for more stories where power meets passion and choices define destiny. Comment below and tell me, would you have made the same choices Jaslyn did? Welcome home.